你好，我们开始上课。Now let's begin our class. Last time we have learned a lot of new words about the topic 看病。First of all, we're going to do some review for the new words, especially some of them are quite difficult. We're going to do some review for the usage of them. Now, please read together with me. 请跟我一起读。病，病人，医院，看病，肚子，疼，死，疼死，夜里。The first one we're going to review is 病. Itself is quite easy as a noun, but in this lesson, quite different. Like 医生我病了 and the opposite is 医生我病了我生病了 the opposite is 我的病好了 or without anything, just 我好了 So as marked with the noun, but in Chinese as used like an adjective, and after that we're going to add le to show the change, to emphasize the new information that for the doctor I want to give the new information that I am sick. And also some people want to emphasize that it's not a simple noun, so they add the verb 生, so 生病. And I'm fine. Now here we're also going to use 好, but here after we add 了 we're going to show the change. Before 我生病我病 and now 好了我的病好了 And the next one is 夜里 What's the difference between 晚上 and 夜里 Yes, 夜里 is only the midnight. If it's 8点9点 we cannot call it 夜里 夜里 is only the midnight. That is from for according to different people, maybe some of them we are going to count it from 12 to 4, then 夜里12点夜里1点 And the second part 我们一起读好挤厕所把冰箱发烧躺下检查坏吃坏 The first one we are going to review is 好挤 挤 itself is how many, but also like in out of the languages like in Korean also can stand for several, a few, and how used to emphasize that for me this number is a lot. So a few days 好几天 a few people 好几个人 many times 好几次 here a few days can be 几天 can be 好几天 depends on the speaker. When the speaker thinks that a few days is too much for me, then we're going to use 好几天. If there's no need to emphasize that kind of personal feelings, we just use 几天. And here 我不能睡觉 so I want to emphasize it's too much. That's the reason I cannot sleep. Then 我喝了好几杯咖啡，所以夜里我没有睡觉。Here 我喝了几杯咖啡 is okay, but if we add 好 are going to be much more natural to link two sentences. And let's try how to finish the sentences. The first one, 高小英过生日. In the previous lesson, we have learned that her birthday party, and she invited a lot of people. 表姐、同学、王鹏、李友、王红 so several people. 他请了好几个人，他请了好几个人，他请了好几个朋友。And the second one, 白英爱没来，所以高文中电话。高文中 was waiting for her, and she hadn't arrived, so he called her several times. 高文中 yes 给他打了好几个电话。Of course, as in English, they also use the amount. Make a phone call. Is 一个 then 好几个。高文中给他打了好几个电话。And 发烧 is also a little difficult because in English is to have a fever, but in Chinese is impossible to say 有烧 or 有发烧。发烧 itself is the verb. So, let's try. I had a fever. 昨天晚上我发烧了。Yes, 39度。In Chinese, we cannot use words and just divide it into two phrases. 我发烧 and the temperature. And the second one, 我感冒了，我感冒了，我头疼，我还发烧 and about the temperature we have 高 and 低，高烧低烧，发高烧发低烧。And next one, 躺 or 躺下。The usage is really complicated. The first one, that on the bed to show the place, not only 在 also we need to add the direction 上。躺在床上 so 躺在 the place 上。躺在床上，躺在地上 on the ground， 躺在沙发上 sofa。 And the second usage is the way to do something, and we're going to use 这 after that. So 爸爸在 is for doing something, so not always 在。躺 着 and the action 躺着看电视，躺着看书，躺着听音乐。And the third one is 躺下。So 今天我 really tired. In this lesson we have learned 4. So 今天我累死了，我得躺下，我要躺下休息一会儿。Just translate from English. We need to add also the direction. 躺下休息一会儿，躺下休息一下。And the next one is also quite difficult. 坏 as the adjective, but used as the result of some action. The first one. 因为蛋糕 here we can use 坏 by itself. 因为蛋糕坏了，所以我吃坏了肚子。坏 can also use as the adjective to show that it goes bad. And 我吃坏了肚子。Here is quite special. 吃坏 can follow with as object. 吃坏了肚子。And 坏 is for 肚子。The second one. 你的鞋 and is 穿。你的鞋穿坏了，我送给你一双新的。So 穿坏了 and use 用坏。So 他用坏了我的电脑。So this time the object is 我的电脑。So 用坏了电脑。And the third part 我们一起读。针打针，药片变，最好小时办法。The first one. The special word for 药 we do not use 一个药 instead of that to use the shape of the medicine, a slice, then 一片药 and I add special usage for the doctor's direction. Please take this medicine. 吃这种药 once a day and from bigger one to small one. 吃这种药一天一次 from bigger one to small one and 一次 the small one is 2片。这种药一天吃一次，一次吃2片 or to move the verb to the word beginning 吃这种药一天一次，一次2片。And also we mentioned 片 can also use to count other objects like the leaf or the bread. 一片面包，一片树叶。So if it's got this kind of shape, we're going to use 片。And the next one is 变 and we compared 次 and 变. Both of them are the measure word for the actions, but 次 is much more common. It's just once, 2 times, then 一次、2次、3 times, 3次. So 我去过3次北京。But 变 is the sense that we emphasize the action has already been finished from the beginning to the end. So 这本书我读了2遍. I have finished the whole book twice. And if it's 这本书我读了2次, the listener won't know if you have already finished it or just finished the first chapter or only several pages. Now let's try which one is the proper word for these sentences. 今天我们的作业是读2课文. Today's homework is to read the text twice. And 2, yes, the best one is for the text to finish it. And 2遍课文. And the second one, 我去了好几，可是没找到他. I went there several times, but I couldn't find him. The action is 去. 去, of course, we're going to go there. There's no need to emphasize from the beginning to the end. So we were going to use 次. And the third one, 老师又说了一，我这听懂了. Our teacher repeated that, and this time I understood it. 说 something. If it's a speech, if it's a really long passage, then from the beginning to the end, we're going to use 变. And this time, to mention this, still 变. Maybe the teacher just mentioned only one character word. Then, of course, there's no need to use the beginning or the end. Then it's possible to use 次. 老师又说了一次，这次我听懂了. So from the context, sometimes both of them are okay. And next one, 最好. When we are going to use this one, yes, the suggestion. 你病了，你最好吃药 ，some 吃点药。要是你肚子疼，你最好去医院看病，你最好躺下休息。And you can give your advice. Next one, 办法. As a noun, we're going to use the verb 用 some way, some methods. 王红用什么办法学习英文 or 有 have. 你有什么学习的好办法? A good method, we can use it with 办法 as one word. 你有什么学习的好办法？我有学习的好办法。复习。You need to review many times because I can understand this, but after several days, you are going to forget that grammar, that word. So, 你最好常常复习。And the grammar. The first one is 起来. It's the usage in the previous level. For example, 6点了，快起来，我们得去学校。So, get up quickly as the verb. And 这是我的位子 ，a seat。这是我的位子，你不能坐这儿。起来。The same as the first one. You need to get up. So, as a verb, 起来 is get up. If there's no special context, it's only get up. But if there's a context, it can be translated to be get up from the bed. And in this lesson, the usage is not as the verb, it's as the complement. After the verb, we use 起来. It's used to indicate the moment when something becomes dynamic. So, the beginning of some action or some state. Begin to, started to be. Like 开始哭. 开始 is begin. Then we can use this pattern. 哭起来. And a special one is if there's an object, it should be used between 起 and 来. 开始唱歌, then 唱起歌来 instead of 唱歌起来 or 唱起来歌. It should be used between them. So this one is a little difficult. But because we also have the first pattern, you can use this one. If you can understand this sentence, it's okay. And let's try. Started to play ball. After the class was over, that's the time word. Then 下课以后，学生们 play ball 打球。Then 学生们打起球来。This one is optional because in this sentence is the past. But because we're going to have this one, there's no need to use it. So 下课以后，下了课以后 both of them are okay. And how to describe the picture? The first one? Yes, 吃起来. This one? 喝起来. Just put the verb before 起来. And this time, you need to add the object. 喝起咖啡来 and 吃起饭来。他喝起咖啡来了。回家以后，我吃起饭来了。And if it's something that has already happened, 了 is possible to use after the verb. Of course, we can also use 了 in the end of the sentence, but it's completely different one. Yes, to show the change. By now, has started to do something. But if there's no 了, it's just to describe that something has started. And the time word is also here. Still remember that one? 依旧。我们一见面就聊了起来。So we use 依旧 to link to action. The first action is 见面 and the second one is 聊天。And because 天 is count to be the object, it should be put here. So I didn't use it. 我们一见面就聊了起来。 there's no need to add 了 in the first one. So if it's a full sentence with several word phrases, then there's no need to add 了 for each of them. And if it's cool, then it should be 哭了起来, cry. And 笑 laugh, smile, 笑了起来, 说了起来, 打了起来, 吃了起来. So please try to make sentences to use these phrases. Please pause here to practice. And how about this? 他一回家就写起信来。Now, another grammar is called the ba construction. In Chinese, we have a special construction that is linked by ba. The pattern is the subject, ba, and the object. After that is a verb, and a special part is, if it's a normal sentence, then that's enough. But if it's the ba construction, after the verb, there should be always something. It cannot be the bare form for the word. There can be other elements, the complements, and a lot of them. If there's nothing there, at least 了. So if the verb is, for example, 我吃饭, then in the sentence 我把饭吃, we write the sentence into this form is wrong because 吃 cannot be the last one. After that, you need to add something. And we use this pattern instead of this one because, of course, we have this one. Subject, verb, and object pattern. We have both of them. We use this pattern because we're going to highlight, emphasize the subject's disposal or the impact upon the object. So, in fact, in this sentence, the most important information is here. And normally, it's something that we need to know, we need to do, or that we have already finished. And 我吃饭, the important information is just the action. But here it's not the action, it's something other elements. For example, 他打弟弟, 弟弟哭了. In this picture, there's two events. The first event is she beat the younger brother, and the younger brother cried. And in Chinese, we can put the two sentences together into one to use this pattern. 他把弟弟打哭了. Here, the object is after 把. So, 弟弟 is the object of 把 because 把, nowadays we do not use it so often as a verb, but in ancient times it can only be used as a verb. So, as the object of 把, and also as the object of 打. 他把弟弟打哭了. Here, in the sentence, the speaker want to emphasize 弟弟哭了, and I want to give enough information why he cried. Is 他打弟弟 so 他打弟弟弟弟哭了 pack them into one, then 他把弟弟打哭了 and another one, the action is 找书 and the result is 我找到了我找到书了 Lo is here because I want to give the listener the new information that I have found that. And I have found the book that you wanted. And here, the object is this part. Then, 我把你要的书找到了. Here, for the listener, the action 找 is not important. 你要的书 is also not important because you have already know that you need the book, and the important information for the listener is that I have already found, and found need to use the result complement form instead of 找 as 找到我把你要的书找到了 and the action is 你写这个字 and the result is 你写错了 then to put them into one sentence 你把这个字写错了 and the subject did some action 写 and the result is 这个字错 so for this kind of sentence, in fact, the grammar is really complicated because after the verb, this one may have some relationship with the action and also with the object. 字错了，你写错了 then 你把这个字写错了 Here, the speaker want to emphasize which part? Yes, 错了 And let's try. How about this one? 请 if we need to use 把 construction 请你把那条裤子 instead of past just 给请把那条裤子给我 Here I need that pants then 请把那条裤子给我 and 把这杯咖啡 the action is 喝 then 把这杯咖啡喝了 了 as to show the result here is the same as one so please finish this here 了 is not for the past not for the new information, but the most important one is to complete. And the next one. To forget is 忘. And the object is then how did 怎么你怎么把女朋友的生日忘了 Here, Alice 了 Here, 忘 and 了 is the information that we want to emphasize. How did you? And please try to compare the two sentences. The first one is 老王给了小张一些钱 and the second one 老王把钱给小张了 The first one translate to be Wang give Zhang some money. The second one give as 钱 but as the money to Zhang, little Zhang. And in Chinese, after 把, if it's the bare form of the object, in English is always the. It's a thing that we have already know. Because this is the most important information. Normally, the most important information is the new information. Then the rest of them may be the old information. The old information is the thing that we have already know. And another one is if the object is something that we have already know, both for the speaker and the listener, the verb is followed by the complement, and in the form of propositional phrase. The propositional phrase is like 在到 start with the preposition, especially if it's 在 and 到. For this kind of sentence, we have no choice but only to use 把 construction. So, verb 在 or 到 with the object. We have only one choice. So, put the pen on the desk. To follow the most basic order, 你放笔 and 在桌子上. But we cannot use this sentence because of this kind of phrase. If there's this kind of phrase and you need to do something on the object, we need to use 把 construction. 你把笔放在桌子上. And deliver this letter to 律师的办公室. Deliver, we haven't learned that one. Just use 送. So, 请把这封信送到律师的办公室. And we cannot use the basic verb object pattern. 请你送这封信到律师的办公室. In Chinese, is impossible. Only one choice. 把这封信送到律师的办公室. That's the end for the first video.